Jersey's Chris Christie tweeted, "Anyone found to have violated the law will face significant penalties." Yeah, lock them up. But economist Art Carden says, no, this is just stupid thinking. What politicians call gouging is really a good thing. So, Art, why?
Well, John, this is straight off of the economics exam that my students are getting ready for right now. Prices send very, very, very valuable signals about what's really, really scarce, what's really, really needed, and what is really, really, really hard to come by in disaster-prone areas. Prices allow us to engage in a kind of economic triage, where when we see the price of a $30 flashlight, we might think twice about some of the silly things we might do with flashlights and say, well, maybe we should pass on this one and leave those flashlights for people who really, really need them. When we have price controls, we create shortages. In other words, people want far more flashlights than people are willing to bring to the market at the controlled price. When we let the price rise, it's like a signal flare that says, bring flashlights to New York, bring flashlights to New Jersey, bring flashlights to places
New Jersey,
where they really, really need it.
Chris Christie, I thought he's a free market guy. He doesn't get this? He wants to lock people up?
Apparently he doesn't. Apparently stuff that is basic economics is a little bit too advanced for the governor of New Jersey.
Now, one other point. The store that sold us this $30 flashlight wasn't having an easy time. They didn't have power. They were pumping water from their basement at the time. So I could see why they would want to charge extra just to remain open. Yet they could be fined $25,000 if they raised the price. They claimed they didn't, that they always sold it for $30.
Right. That's an important point. For the store owner, it's pretty obvious that they've got some other issues to deal with, like pumping out their basement. By allowing the signal flare that prices are, by allowing prices to rise, we send a signal to the person who could sell the flashlight that, hey, there are a lot of people who want flashlights now. Would you please divert your attention from some other things you could be doing to making sure that people in New York have flashlights?
One example from Hurricane Katrina. After the hurricane, John Shepherdson of Kentucky bought 19 generators. He and his family then rented a U-Haul, drove 600 miles to part of Mississippi that had no power, offered to sell his generators for twice what he paid for them. People were eager to buy, but the police arrested him, confiscated his generators, and he stayed in jail for 4 days. I mean, who wins from that?
Well, with friends like that, the people in Mississippi don't need enemies. As an economist, I think these people should be lauded as heroes. Why? Because they're taking scarce resources from areas of relatively low need to areas of relatively high need. In the case of the generators, nobody got generators after the guy was arrested.
But what about the poor? When you allow people to raise prices, and maybe that's the only reason I was able to get a flashlight, the poor are cut out. Rich people win.
But merely passing a law saying you're not allowed to charge more than, say, $10 for the flashlight, that's not going to guarantee that poor people get flashlights. In fact, a law against price gouging is going to prevent people from bringing more flashlights to the market, ultimately.
Which would bring the price down and make them more accessible to poor people. Thank you, Art Carden.
Sure.
Hooray for price gouging! I would just call it flexible prices.